Hopefully you can all see my screen. If I can get a quick thumbs up. I can see some nodding heads, perfect. So for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure is very few, the Design Society is an interdisciplinary community of academics and industry practitioners with the goal of developing and promoting a robust, usable and scalable means of designing solutions to complex problems that sustainable and globalised society need to thrive in the 21st century. And that's our vision statement there. It's on our website. Who we are practically is over 900 members in 48 countries worldwide, and you can see some familiar faces in that picture in the background. And the benefits of the DS are access to research papers and thesis, awareness of events, calls and jobs, reduced publication fees, reduced event registration fees also, and the ability to develop your career. If you happen to be one of our younger members, then you also have access to things like PhD summer schools, young members events, and interaction with your peers. And for any information about Design Society, you can go to the website and it's designsociety.org. So I'll now pass over to Freddie, who will talk a little bit about the new Design Society chat room for 2021, and we'll introduce each of the SIGs today to give us a brief summary of what it is that they do and how members can get involved. Over to you, Freddie.
Hi, thanks, Ross. Good afternoon or good morning or good evening, wherever you are. And yes, my name is Freddie Hollyman. I'm a researcher at the University of Strathclyde, teaching associate. So I've been asked by Laura and Ross to come on board to help with the organisation of the chat room this summer. We're working on a few different subjects over the course of the next few months, which will be discussed and revealed as things are finalised and plans are made. I guess one of the first things we need to cover is Ross. Next slide is to thank Laura for her time in organising the chat room in chat rooms past. I'm basically got to fill her boots now, and hopefully I'll do her a good job or do a good job in her absence. Next slide, Ross. Thank you. So special interest groups. Won't go into too much detail, as I'm hoping that most of you will understand that a special interest group is a group of individuals within the DS membership that provide opportunities not only for the membership but for non-members as well to network, share ideas and experience and knowledge, and provide opportunities to learn from each other, collaborate and potentially open up new or novel research topics within their special interest fields. They're responsible for the organisation of their own events and activities, and particularly these are areas of interest to further the Society's overall aims and objectives that Ross covered earlier. Typically managed by 2 or 3 leaders, each special interest group has an appropriate committee or group known as a steering committee that is established in order to support the special interest group's leadership in carrying out their specific tasks. We currently have a large number of special interest groups, each color-coded, and this will be the order that we're going to invite representatives from each SIG to speak up or to unmute themselves, I guess, in this case, rather than stand up and go into a bit more detail of who they are and what they do. So we'll start with the Cognitive Design Science SIG. We've got details up on the screen now.
Thank you, Freddie. So hi everyone, it's nice to see you all virtually. So I am Laura Hay, and as you can see from this helpfully prepared slides, I'm one of 3 leaders of the Cognitive Design Science SIG, along with Alex Duffy and Philip Cash, and we have a great committee of people as well who support us in leading this SIG. So I only have 2 minutes just to give you a very brief overview if you're not familiar with the SIG. We focus on we're interested in 4 main areas at the moment. So research on the designer's brain, research on the designer's cognition, their thinking processes, We're also interested in research on design and creativity and related phenomena in other fields like psychology and neuroscience and cognitive science. And we're really interested as well in the applications of this research. So how can we apply all of this knowledge to help us improve the design process, develop better methods and tools for designers, and that sort of thing. That's not an exclusive list of things that we're interested in. So I would say anyone who has any kind of interest in neurocognition, cognition, the brain, how all of that works is very welcome to join this SIG. And we are very open to hear things that you might want to contribute to the agenda for this SIG and group of people. We're also really keen on building more concrete relationships with researchers in some of these other fields that I mentioned as well. So, for example, people working on creativity in neuroscience and psychology, there's a big community there. So we would like to build stronger relationships with those people, share expertise across that disciplinary boundary, set up more collaboration and more kind of cross-disciplinary learning. So in terms of how you can get involved, I guess the easiest way to do that is to sign up. On the Design Society website. If you sign up, you'll get updates on what we're doing, events we're running, opportunities to give us input into what we're doing in the SIG. Over the summer, we are going to be running a webinar series, a cross-disciplinary webinar series where we're going to look to bring in speakers from design, psychology, neuroscience, cognitive science who are working on topics that are relevant to the SIG. And we're hoping to, by doing that, start to foster this kind of cross-disciplinary learning and sharing of expertise, and just bringing together this community of people working in this area. We are also running a workshop at ISED in August that's going to focus on design neurocognition. So if you're at all interested in how the brains of designers work, how we study that, the approaches we use, the purposes of that kind of research, please do come along to that workshop. And longer term, we have a few ideas in the pipeline. But if there is anything that you would like to see, if you're a member of this SIG already or you're thinking of joining up, please just drop me an email anytime. If there are any speakers you would like to see in the webinar series over the summer or anything you would like to see longer term, I'm always very happy to hear from you and hear your ideas. And I think that just about covers it for me.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Laura. That's fantastic. What we'll do is we'll perhaps offer an opportunity for questions in general at the end rather than for each individual SIG. So with that in mind, the next SIG is collaborative design. Do we have someone from collaborative design to have a wee chat? I noticed that Avril is here, but her Wi-Fi is not great, but we'll see.
No, I'm fine. Ian's going to speak first. We're doing a double act, so we have 1 minute each.
Yeah, Freddie, thanks for that, and it's great to see that you put my Sunday name on there, Robert Ian Whitfield, in case you didn't realise. I was just looking back at what we've done within the Collaborative Design SIG, and interestingly, we started in 2010, but we weren't actually a SIG at that point in time. We had a workshop in 2010, which was just to get a sense for whether there was an interest in the community within creating a collaborative design SIG. And obviously this is something that we've seen within ISED and design workshops, where there's typically a collaborative design theme to some of the sessions that we see in these conferences. So we have in the past run workshops in design and ISED conferences. We've covered a broad range of topics, and what I think the community has typically enjoyed is the fact that these have been workshops. We've actually worked with solving a broad range of different sorts of problems and focal points. We started off, as originally within design, and the intention there was to understand what different sorts of elements, concepts and considerations people were interested in with respect to collaborative design. And it was a broad range. We identified issues with respect to human factors, the management of collaborative design, different types of projects, communication issues, resources, tools, support, commonality, etc. But what this has meant is that we've had an opportunity to work with other SIGs as well. Obviously, with collaborative design, we would recognise that we should be collaborating with other SIGs. But we've had a range of different focal points. We've had industrial applications where we had a number of industrial presentations with respect to collaborative design. We've focused on research methods for PhD students to understand how they would align with different collaborative design research. More recently, we've had an interest in understanding what the activators and inhibitors are for collaborative design, and understand whether it's possible to create a causal loop diagram of the causes and effects of collaborative design for successful collaboration. And this has been an ongoing piece that we've had some really interesting discussions within workshops that I said in design, focusing on and bringing this causal loop diagram together. So that's a potted history. I'll hand over to Avril, who'll give a focus in terms of where we're going forward with the SIG.
Okay, thanks, Ian. Thanks for that introduction. So what I'd like to do is just spend the rest of the time talking about what our forthcoming and immediate plans are and how you might get involved if you would like to get involved, and we would really welcome anyone who is interested in collaborative design to join or participate in any of our activities. So in the first instance, we are running 2 workshops at the forthcoming ISED conference, and these are open to everyone. They will be ran virtually using Zoom or Teams, so everyone can participate. These workshops are going to be quite different in nature, in that one of them is going to be very much a participatory, experimental nature, where participants in the workshop will actually take part in online experiments, and will generate data, will collect and analyse the data and share that with all of the workshop participants. And fundamentally, we're looking to explore key concepts that define collaborative design within that particular workshop. The second workshop that we're running will be slightly different in nature, in that it's going to involve guest speakers from industry, and it will be looking at industry perspectives on collaborative design for a post-pandemic world. Clearly, we've entered a new paradigm for collaboration since the pandemic, and we will have 2 guest speakers, one from the aerospace industry and one from the sports industry, to give their perspectives of this new paradigm, to look at successes, failures, advantages, disadvantages, and really their industry perspectives on this. There'll be opportunities for questions and answers, and then breakouts for discussions around future research themes based on the insights given to us from our industry speakers. At both of these workshops, we are setting aside 15 minutes of time to actually explore what members would like, new themes that members would like to explore within collaborative design, and also activities that they would like to participate in, future activities and future events. So if you're interested in collaborative design and being part of the SIG and interacting with the SIG, come along to one or both of these workshops, and be sure to let us know about what themes, activities and events you would like to take part in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic. Now, if we've got someone from decision making in design, that would be if you'd like to unmute and tell us about your SIG today.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Camille Jean. I'm assistant professor in Arts et Métiers, and I'm the SIG leader with the cardinal of the SIG decision making in design. The objective of the SIG is to share experiences on the complexity of decision making in design, to discuss existing research on modeling and visualizing in this topic, and to identify the landscape for future research in decision making as a cross-disciplinary field. Recently, since 1 year, the SIG focuses on the use of data to improve the product design process in the early stage. For example, to determine the relevant data that could be enhanced creativity in the design process. To get involved in this SIG, we organize a workshop in ISED 21, and this workshop will be on interaction data and decision making. And all participants will have an overview of existing state-of-the-art knowledge on this topic. And the goal of the workshop is to share knowledge and evaluate different specific tools and to discuss new opportunities to support companies during the product design process in the area of IoT and smart PSS. We also plan to realize a workshop in Paris next year in 2022, and you will have more information at ISED on this workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Excellent. I now invite someone from the Design Creativity SIG to talk about what they are up to in their work.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andrew Woodhouse from the University of Strathclyde. I believe the Design Creativity SIG is one of the oldest in the Design Society. It was initially founded in 1999 by Yukari Nagai, Amaresh Chakrabarty and Toshi Taura. And since then there have been other people involved like Gaetano Cassini, Elise DeConnick as well at various times. But this year has marked a new phase for our SIG, with myself, Akane Matsume and Srini Venkataraman taking over as SIG leaders, while the previous people that I've mentioned are continuing to form part of our steering committee. So the objective of our SIG is to deepen our understanding of the nature and role of creativity in design. We think it's a very attractive topic to a range of researchers, given that creativity is a positive force. It's something that's intrinsic to all of us and gives us the opportunity to affect and change the world around us. So we are really just trying to provide a platform to bring together different researchers to help understand existing designs, design processes, design tools, and creativity ecosystems, how they intersect and can influence our lives. We, like some of the other SIGs, are organising a workshop at the ISED conference, where as new SIG leaders we are hoping to try and generate an agenda for the design creativity field moving forward. There's a panel of speakers who are going to be hopefully providing us with inspiration and an opportunity to map out some of these ideas amongst us. And as many of you will know as well, the Design Creativity SIG is closely aligned with the ICDC conference, and Yukari Nagai is going to be continuing as chair of that conference, and we will continue to align with that in the future. So you will hear about plans for that going forward. Other than that, we're planning to make some changes and develop some new attractions on our SIG website to try and generate interest and opportunities for people to get involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrew. If there's someone from the Design Education SIG, we'd like you to unmute and say a few words, that'd be great.
Yes, thank you, Freddie. Good afternoon. I am Hilary Grierson. I'm also from Strathclyde University, and I lead the Design Education Special Interest Group with Eric Bohemia from Oslo Metropolitan University. Now, the aim of our forum is to share and disseminate any pedagogical practice in design education, and we invite and we welcome all disciplines of design, from architecture to engineering to product design engineering, the full range. We're involved in bringing people together to network, to collaborate and to improve design education. And we mainly operate through conferences, workshops, publications, working groups, chat rooms and other events. So the main undertaking we have is organising and managing the Engineering and Product Education International Conference, and we do this in collaboration with the Institution of Engineering Designers here in the UK. Organising the international conferences is our main way of collaborating and networking with our members. It's a lovely conference, it's fairly small scale. We usually have about 100 participants in the conference itself. And we get an opportunity to meet with other SIG members and other national design organisations during this conference. The last conference we had in September 2020, and it marked 21 years of collaboration between the Special Interest Group and the Design Society and the Institution of Engineering Designers. So we are also one of the older SIGs within the group. It was also, due to the pandemic, one of the first conferences that we ran entirely online. And that was quite a success, I must say. It was hosted by VIA University, Herning in Denmark, and we received over 100, of which 87 were accepted. And we had a whole range of webinars instead of workshops, lounges, host lounges where the Design Society and the IED were able to talk about their organisations. And we also had keynotes from the likes of Lego and the Design School in Colding. We encourage young members to join our SIG, and at that conference we have student presentations and we have student awards as well. Our next conference is going to be this September. It's going to be online again due to COVID, and it will be organised again by VIA University. And you can read more about that if you're interested online at epde.info2020. The SIG also organises and archives all of the past conference proceedings from E and PDE, and this has become a very useful design education resource and is available to all members. DSIG put on design education workshops, and already the Collaboration SIG has talked about workshops, and we do workshops at E and PDE conference annually, at the International Conference on Engineering Design once every 2 years, and also at the Design Conference. We promote special design education issues of journals from time to time, and we look at promoting small working groups to explore particular aspects, particularly topical ones, of design education. We've been involved in the Design Society chat room and welcome people who would like to contribute to things like what is the latest pedagogy, how do you successfully transition from normal to online teaching, and so on. We currently have 250 members within our SIG, and you can find out a lot more information on our website, which is linked to the Design Society website. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Hilary. But now, if there's a representative from the Design for Additive Manufacturing, that would be now would be a perfect time for you to tell us about your SIG.
Thank you, Freddie. Together, so my name is Tina Stankovic, I'm coming from ETH Zurich, and together with Nick Meisel and Serena Graziosi from Penn State University and Politecnico di Milano, I'm co-chairing the SIG. And what the SIG does, so we focus on the link between the design and additive manufacturing, of course, and by focusing, I mean, we focus on the design methods, tools, computational models, materials and processes with the common goal of supporting design for additive manufacturing. And we have certain events this year that are going to happen. So first we have the summer school on computational design for additive manufacturing. This will take place from 5th to 16th of July, completely online. It's the second edition of the summer school already that we had last year, and it was organized under the Idea League. We'll see what happens in the future. This is at the moment the format, and we have invited 5 students from the Design Society to participate in the summer school. In addition to that, we are also organizing a workshop at ISET conference, of course, and we also tried, like other SIGs, to try to reach out to other communities to extend the I would say the collaboration between other communities with other communities, of course, and maybe also invite other people to join Design Society SIG as well, and also under the umbrella of the conference that actually aims to explore the societal impacts of design. And in that respect, we also organized a workshop with a similar topic, inviting the community to discuss how can designers help to impact the society, especially to additive manufacturing. And for that purpose, we invited people from other communities, namely one architect, one surgeon, and one person that does food printing. So something that might give us a different perspective. In addition to that, we also had some other activities on the drawing board that still haven't left the drawing board, which is, we thought of mini webinars for PhD students, but we still have to think how to actually do it. We also gather some experience to the summer school that we organize now, the second year, which will probably be more, we are aiming in more permanent event actually. And also there was one suggestion which is still not implemented about promoting the papers regarding DFAM from DS Design Society journals, which is something similar to the previous SIG as well. So if anyone has some opportunities or what, has some ideas or want to get involved with the SIG, please drop to either one of us email, and we would be happy to discuss with you and to discuss the possibilities. Also, Nick is present here. Serena couldn't be present today because of her teaching duties. So if I miss something, Nick will probably add the points. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tino. Excellent. The next SIG that we'll be talking about today is Design Practice. If there's someone, a representative from Design Practice, to talk about that, that would be great.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. My name is Oscar Nespoli. Welcome, everyone. Together with Ulla Isaksson, we started the SIG in June 2017 with the mission to foster interaction between academics and practitioners to try and capture, understand, support exchange, and share design practice. One of the mechanisms we try to do this is to try and capture and study and communicate authentic and relevant design problems sourced from industry. And we, in particular, are trying to attract practitioners to come into our SIG to talk to us about how they do design and to share their case stories with us. Our specific objectives are for these practitioners to challenge researchers with new questions, to try and encourage academics to understand design practice, but at the same time, to have academics express the value of their design research for practice. We do this through a number of mechanisms. We have conference workshops where we source authentic problems with a company-sponsored problem, and we actually work on those problems. We actually practice design. We have a speaker series where we try to alternate between practitioners talking about their projects and academics talking about their tools for practice. We also have monthly meetings, which are very informal chats, and we invite both academics who are interested in design practice and practitioners to come and just talk to us about current questions and research. So if you'd like to join us, we welcome you. Again, my name is Oscar Nespoli, and I can drop my email in the chat. So thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Oscar. Now I'd like to talk about the Design Process SIG. So if there's a representative from their leadership there, that would be great to talk about it.
Hello, I'm Claudia Eckert from the Open University. I'm leading the Design Process SIG together with Professor Kilia Gericke from Rostock University. We are one of the oldest SIGs of the Design Society that used to be called MMEP, which was Modeling and Managing Engineering Processes, and we felt was a very unelegant title. So we renamed ourselves to partly have something more intuitive, but also I think to reflect a broadening interest in the SIG, that essentially we are interested in how the processes in complex industrial situations work and how they can be supported through products and process models in directing and controlling and managing the processes. So we've essentially as a format come together in workshops, often with industrial speakers, to give us an indication of a problem, bring together a group of academics and then work at a topic. And usually we then write papers together. So we have written some very interesting papers with 13 co-authors, but really tried to engage in some of the underlying issues like what are models, how do we build models, what is a method, how can we validate methods. We are currently working on different process modeling paradigms, and we will present that at a workshop in ISIT. So you're very welcome to that if you're interested in process modeling paradigms. And we are planning to look in the new year again in the sort of future of process paradigms. So essentially what will happen to design processes now, since stage gate processes are somewhat falling out of favor. People talk a lot about agile, and we're trying to understand what the next paradigm for design processes will be. And again, we are probably going to run a workshop and that bring a group of people together and work on it and then write a paper on it. So thank you very much. If you're interested, please see us at the workshop in ISIT.
Thanks, Claudia. We should also mention that you're the Board of Management representative for the SIGs. And so if any of the SIGs have any problems, then they can get in touch with you as well.
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. We're now looking for someone from the Design Sketching SIG to chat to us about what they're up to.
Well, hi, good afternoon. My name is Jan-Willem Hofthuizer. Together with Brian Howell, I'm steering this Design Sketching Special Interest Group, and it's an honor to talk to you and to say something about it. So thanks for this opportunity. And what the Sketching SIG is there for is because we'd like to bring design practice and education and design research a bit more together in a special way. We would like to do that through the medium of sketching, visual representation of research, of education, of anything that really is worth sharing. And the medium of sketching, therefore, is the core of what we try to establish. Practice, in that sense, could be invited, at least that's what we're trying. We try to invite people from practice of design into conferences like the ENPDE, but also in the ISED conferences. They held workshops together with us, and research and education community could then learn from it or hear about commonalities and maybe ask each other questions, answer them. We have been there since 2018, and since then we've done workshops at Design in Dubrovnik, Design 2018, the various ENPDE conferences in London, Glasgow and Herning. And what we did there is doing workshops, as we did in ISET, but we also were able to, together with quite some people who helped us, among them Ross Briscoe, who's visual here for all of us, helped us to establish visual paper tracks. So in Glasgow and at the conference of Herning, ENPDE Herning, there were visual tracks, which means that people could submit visual papers to that conference with special attention for that visual format. And we are very happy that those situations, those times that we did this were very successful. At this moment, we're also collaborating with other gremia like DRS has asked us to also thinking about visual papers, submissions, etc. And the IDSA in US is also working with us to try and establish visual paper submissions there. So we're trying to broaden, but also to learn from it to make it even better within the design society. The objectives are to further develop the way of publishing using visuals and sketching as a means to share and disseminate research in a research context mostly. Interesting thing is that sketching in terms of education has proven itself as a generative tool, but also as an explanatory tool, of course. And that, I think, is also valid for research. So in a generative way, sketching could help establish research and think about scenarios, map out what you're trying to do. And of course, the explanatory role is clearly there in terms of conferences. we'd like to invite you to be part of this. If you're interested and you feel like wanting to be involved, then please do so. I'll put my email and another link towards this SIG in the chat. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay, if we've got someone from the Design Theory SIG, please let yourself know.
Well, we are here. Seb. Hello, Seb.
Seb, it looks like your microphone is muted.
Is off. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, the Design Theory SIG is about 13 years old, I believe, or more. Pascal knows it better. Anyway, the primary mission of the Design Theory SIG is to provide a place and a space for presenting, exchanging, and collaborating across different aspects of design to develop and enhancing existing theories informed by a theoretical base and practical experience. The SIG has brought together participants from industry and academia to achieve this mission through its yearly and biannual mini meeting at ISIG. These participants are engaged in the study and practice of technology design, policy design, organizational design, clinical psychology, and others. The SIG recognizes the need for a diversity of design theories that can complement or challenge each other. To achieve this goal, we have had participation from several SIGs on creativity, sketching, and others. We invite participants from all other SIGs to present their work at the annual workshop in Paris to enrich design theory. The participation from different streams of design inquiries of the SIG is critical to informing the creation of new design theories and critically evaluating and interrelating them. The mission and vision of the SIG are to sustain and enhance the place where different streams of design meet and enrich the conception of design, rather a city at the crossroads of disciplines and practices of design to enrich the theories of design to enhance practice and research. Pascal, it's you. Next.
Yeah, just to add that the work we do unfold in two main directions. The first one is a kind of hard program where researchers discuss, propose, test formal models of design theory. And we have an open program where design theory is experimented and tested in multiple situations and disciplines, meaning empirical contemporary cases, historical studies, lab experiments, etc. And of course, we hope that potential anomalies will help us enrich the theory, or vice versa, that design theory can enrich our understanding of empirical phenomena. So Design Theory SIG welcome contributions from psychology, cognition, history, physics, chemical engineering, computer science, mathematics, philosophy, art, etc. There is a very quick development of the theory, and this called for quite an intense collaborative organization. And for this, we have to thank Design Society to help us and support the SIG. We have this annual meeting that Sub just mentioned. We meet in Paris more or less the end of each January. Next meeting will take place from 21st of January to 1st of February 2022. And we also have now a design theory tutorial, or we could call this winter school. And this is a 3 days winter school that takes place just after the workshop this year, meaning from the 2nd to the 4th of 2022. And of course, you're more than welcome to join us for the Design Theory Symposium at the next ISET conference, well, online in Gothenburg. See you soon.
Thank you both. Now, if we could ask for someone from Health Systems Design, if they're here, to talk about their SIG. Okay, maybe there's no one from Health Systems available at the moment to talk about it. You can find more information on their homepage, which is healthsystems.designsociety.org, which I'll put a link in the chat. In that case, we'll move on to human behavior in design. If there's a representative from human behavior in design, we can talk about that.
Yes, I can start. Yeah, hello. My name is Yvonne Eriksson, and I'm from the Mälardalen University, Sweden. And human behavior in design, we focus on both designers and users' behavior and understanding in the design process. And over the last 2 years, we have focused on the digital transformation, how it affects users, but also designers, and also strive for a non-technology driven development, but also take people into consideration, the users. In 2019, we ran a 2-day conference about these themes, about the digital transformation and the effect on designers and the users. And at Design 2020, we ran a workshop on the theme, the relation between analog and digital tools in the design process. And we also meet every second month. This year we have had 2 workshops online. The first one was about how to develop methods that could evaluate methods used in design processes. And the last one we had here 1 month ago is about challenges in co-creation between designers and non-designers. And Christine Petzold, who is the other leaders, will tell more about the next seminar and the workshop at ISET.
Thank you. Yes, for the ISET, we plan a workshop in which we want to discuss challenges in validating methods. I think the most important task from engineering designer is to create methods which we need for summarizing knowledge and to support the design with knowledge or with other information for the design process. But often we have the problem that these methods are not accepted, and so we need the kind of validation for plausibility, for correctness, for originality and so on. And the question is, how can we do this? How can we do this in such a way that it is that we can measure the design process and that we can create methods in the right manner? And this is what we want to discuss in the at the ISET workshop in Gothenburg.
Excellent. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Thank you. And now if there's a representative from the Product Service Systems SIG.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Marco Bertoni, and together with Tobias Larsson we are both from Blekinge Institute of Technology in Sweden. We are chairing the Process SIG system, the design of Process SIG systems, special interest group. And the idea is to work together to understand, model, and run PSS design processes. So the main motivation for the SIG is that through the years we've seen many different successful examples of Process SIG systems. And in the website we write from A to Z, or actually from A to X, ABB to Xerox. But most of the company today still struggle quite a lot to, to shift from traditional one-sale models and see the value of Process SIG systems. So inside this SIG, we actually looking at, we want to create a multidisciplinary environment to raise the level of understanding of this PSS design issue. And it's a place to share not only research practices, but also best practices in education. And nowadays, we are planning for kind of a kick-off activity for the SIG, which was established in February 2020. It was not optimal looking at the pandemic. We are basically aiming to kick off activities at ISET 21 in Gothenburg, where we are going to have a workshop on the topic of smart PSS and how do they inform companies about voice of the customer. I mean, to what extent the smart PSS make voice of the customer louder and clearer. In the long term, we plan to have more open meetings among us in the group, as well as PhD courses, because we want to invest quite a lot on young researchers and young talents on the PSS domain. And if you want to get involved, you can just go under, the Design Society website. You go under My Profile, My Network, and you can select us. And you can follow our news, stats, and more in relation, to our SIG. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Marco. And now if there's someone from the risk management processes and methods in Design SIG to talk about their work. Okay, if there's not a representative here, that's absolutely fine. If you're interested in risk management processes and methods and you want to learn more information about the SIG, their URL is risk.designsociety.org, and I'll share that in the chat. Next is robust design. So a representative from robust design to talk about what your interests are at all. Similarly to risk, the robust design SIG URL is robust.designsociety.org. If you want to check the link out in the chat, I've just shared it there as well. You can have a look and learn more there. Next is sustainable design. Is there someone from sustainable design?
Hello, everyone. I think that the chair, Sophie Alsted, is not present today. I'm actually co-chair of the SIG, while the other names, Professor Pigosso, Dr. Leroy, and Dr. Faludi, are members of the steering committee. So the Sustainable Design SIG is a sort of evolution of the previously founded Eco-Design SIG, which I believe was the first SIG of the Design Society, but Professor McAloon can correct me if I'm wrong. In any case, it is maybe more important to the audience what we are doing now. We have a number of tasks that we have given ourselves. First of all, we are going to try to expand the research network on sustainable design, and we would like to take into account the very many dimensions that sustainability has. And for these reasons, and in order to organize different groups and to establish new collaboration, we will have the next workshop at ISET 21 about research roadmap in sustainable design, where of course we invite everybody who's interested to join. We regularly run workshop at all ISET and design conference editions, and among the other tasks, we are still, for networking reasons, we are planning a new series of webinars which should be very much rooted and oriented to the collaboration with other SIGs and to take into account the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Then we are trying to manage the easing of publications about sustainable design through another working group to the creation of consortia also for funded projects, also because in Europe and worldwide the topic of sustainability is of course of great relevance. And last not least, we have a communication and reach out working group in which we will try to involve more people in the SIG and in the design society, because we have noted that there are a number of people writing about eco-design and about sustainable design, and also participate, maybe publishing design science, participate to ISET conferences, design conferences, but are not members of the design society. So we would like to bring in more active people inside the SIG. This is also the reason why we have opened a new newsletter very recently. And yeah, this way we would like really more people interested in this topic to join both the SIG but also the Design Society for those who are not member at present. Thank you also for publishing the link about a first special issue we have co-guest edited as members of the steering committee. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Yuri, for your time. As you can all see, there are links to all of these SIGs, and further information can be found on the SIG section of the Design Society website. If there are any questions for any of the SIG leaders, I invite you to either pop them in the chat or to just unmute yourself and ask away.
Can I just say something to all of you? Well done for all these presentations. It was really nice to get the overview over the SIG activities, since we missed out on so much this year at the RIGI meeting. But what I wanted to tell you is that the Board of Management is planning to catch up with all of the SIGs in the coming year, that we've started to talk to our committees and invite them for half an hour to just report their activities, and we found that very useful. So we're thinking of doing the same thing with the SIGs next year. So we'll be in touch and then arrange a time where you can join us on a Board of Management meeting. And that's also an opportunity, I think, to feed ideas from the SIGs to the Board of Management and the wider society. So just to give you a warning about this.
Thank you, Claudia. Are there any other questions that anyone would like to ask?
This is Sam. I would like to make a comment. Listening to all the SIGs, what I see is there are cross-cutting issues across SIGs. Not all of them are independent in the sense there are overlaps. I think it would be interesting to identify. I mean, we know design theory goes across and different things go across, but there are other disciplines dealing with computation problems across. So there are cross-cutting issues which we may want to identify across the SIGs, so that that itself becomes another way to create collaboration.
Anyone would like to discuss, to add a comment regarding that? Cross-cutting issues between SIGs, what are they? Are there issues that potential collaboration that hasn't yet been identified? Perhaps this is an opportunity to start the wheels turning on such thoughts, at least, and then offline some discussions can be had between SIG leaders on potential collaboration as well. Any further questions or comments at this time? Well, on behalf,
there's a hand up in the chat.
Oh, is there a hand up in the chat? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think it's mine, Marietta Norell.
Yeah.
It's actually not related to the former question, which should be, because it is difficult how to handle these interactions. And I'm representing, together with Panos Papalambros and Susanne Nilsson and Bernard Schwebabu, the Africa Design, which is not a SIG. It's more a network hub, and it's not coincidentally, because we do want to collaborate with the different SIGs, with the specific perspective on Africa and on the Sustainable Development Goals, dealing with research and education and practice. So we don't need to talk very much about that, but that is one side of these interactions. So we are going to have a workshop, an engaged workshop with so many people as possible, and we have made a survey where the results will form a base for the discussions, and we want to specifically engage the young ones from of course all around, but also specific from the students from the African University, and build an even stronger network, and to inspire action, and to understand and develop the mutual learning between our continents concerning the development goals. So I only want to say all to the SIG leaders and that we are very open, and hopefully some of our participants would like to join your workshop on and your themes on the ISED. So not to compete at all, but to complement. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Margareta, and thanks, Suzanne. Yeah, I put a little note in the chat that perhaps we could have a chat room in the future that is focused on the Africa Design Initiative, and we can talk about that as a larger part of Design Society. That would be a great topic to have.
I think there is a broader issue, not just Africa. You have to look at a broader question of how developing countries should be developing. Western models of development have been pushed in, and they have not worked. I can give you a whole lecture on why it hasn't worked, but we have to be very careful. That's all I will say. And we need to explore these things systematically, locally, as well as globally. And
I do agree.
Thanks, Rob. We've got a couple more hands up in the chat. Could we maybe quickly go to Pascal and then maybe Yuri, and then we can close the session?
Yeah, just a comment. I always think it's quite impressive to see the list of SIGs and the contents that are discussed in the Design Society, and it's very good to advertise this not only internally but also externally. It's quite important to see that this is the richness of Design Society, this capacity to address all these different issues, all related to design. So I'm always impressed to see this, and I insist on advertising this externally.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. And Yuri, any final comments?
Yeah, just a reflection. So most of us are running workshops at ISED, at the Design Society, and they happen the same day. So maximum we can directly participate into workshop, and it is a sin because many run in parallel and many are all are of interest, but I mean a good percentage are of interest for people who have to choose. So it is a sort of plea to the organization of ISED and Design Society Conference, if this kind of events can be recorded or made available more largely than it used to be. Just
absolutely,
this.
yeah, a very good idea. We'll feed that into the ISED organisers. Freddie, would you like to bring the session to a close?
Well, with that, I just want to thank, on behalf of the chat room organisers, and I would like to thank all the representatives from all the special interest groups for their time today, and for everyone else that has attended. Again, if you have any further questions regarding the chat room, then you can get in contact with Ross or myself. And if you have any questions regarding any of the special interest groups, then I invite you to look on the special interest groups pages on the Design Society website. With that, thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of what's left of your day. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.